let's have a C. Can anyone tell me, and at this point, I'm fine if you raise your hand or you can just use the chat. Can anyone tell me what an integer actually is? You can type it out in the chat or you can raise your hand to tell me. What is an integer? Nonjabulo, what is an integer? There should be a little pop-up to unmute yourself.
You can do this, Nonjabulo. Okay, you know how we love you guys, hey? So Nonjabulo, it's okay. I can see that you are trying to unmute. It could be that you know, there's network issue or whatever it is. So just know that we are sending so much love to you, and you can put it on the chat. And definitely next time the question will be yours, okay? So Teacher Sam, we can choose another candidate to help Nonjabulo while Nonjabulo is trying to figure out what to do.
Dao, what is an integer?
Yes, ma'am. An integer is a number 0, a positive natural number, or a negative integer with a minus sign. The negative numbers are the yo, ma'am.
Okay.
You're doing so well.
Additive inverse of the corresponding positive numbers in the language of mathematics.
Man, is fancy. Yes, well done. That's very fancy wording.
Yeah, geez, well done. Okay, so guys, basically, the way I think of integers are all of your positive and negative whole numbers. So this obviously does not include fractions or decimals. Sorry, it's easier for me to type today than try and write because clearly I can't do both. And so if you think of your number line, which we're going to have a look at now, it's every number from negative to positive infinity, but no fractions. So we would include 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to positive infinity, but all the whole numbers. And we would do the same thing on the negative. So this is what Dao was saying about the like corresponding positive and negative sign. If you've got a positive 1, you could also consider a negative 1 in your integers. And so it's all of your positive and negative whole numbers in the number system. We include 0 as well in integers. But what we now need to be careful of is the fact that we do have some negative values that we're going to start working with, which means that we need to be very careful with our signs as we go along. Oh, sorry guys, frog in my throat. Okay, so that is essentially what integers are. Again, they are all our positive and negative whole numbers. So no fractions, no decimals. Think of your number line, think of the numbers that you would count in as whole numbers. Those are your integers essentially. Now we did chat about this in the last course. So if you want a more detailed breakdown of the number system and what our different types of numbers are, if you go back and watch, I think it was the first lesson that we did, you'll be able to see your whole number system broken down for you. So that hopefully we're all on the same page. But like I said, this course we're focusing on integers. So let's have a look at some examples of how we work with integers, how we need to be aware of integers, etc., etc. Guys, remember, no raising. Oh, guys, sorry, I'm just scrolling and moving. No raising hands until I ask you to, please. You're welcome to put answers in on the chat, obviously, but until I've asked you for a raised hand, let's just give everyone a chance. So here in question or example 1, rather, what I'm asking you to do is look at the two numbers that I've given you and decide which one's bigger and which one's smaller. So if we have a look, and let's do the first one together. If we have a look at question A, we've got 2 and we've got 6. Now, again, this is where a number line could potentially be quite useful to you. Now, your number line, as you move to the right, as you move towards positive infinity, you're getting towards bigger and bigger numbers. If you are now moving down the left of your number line, so towards negative infinity, you're moving towards smaller and smaller numbers. So this is why a number line is always quite helpful, because we can see whether we're working with smaller values or bigger values. So if I think about the two values that I've been asked to compare here, the values 2 and 6, and obviously I haven't drawn my number line all the way up to 6, because why on earth would I do that? 5, 6. We can now decide, based on what we now know about our number line, which is bigger. Now, because we know as we move to the right, we're getting bigger and bigger, we want to look for the number essentially furthest right on our number line. And so what we know is that 6 is a bigger number. I always try and relate it to food. I would much rather have 6 cupcakes than 2 cupcakes. And so 6 is the bigger number. And so we can fill in our crocodile mouth or our bird mouth, however you choose to think of it, for which number is bigger. Now remember, the crocodile, I think of it as a crocodile. The crocodile always wants to eat the bigger number. It's like me, it wants more cupcakes. So it should be eating the bigger number in your inequality. Alrighty, so what I want you to do, you've got the number line here for you. What I want you to do is try and answer B, C, and D for me. And like and type of things put on the chat, please label your answers B, C, and D so that we know exactly which answers are which. When I am ready, I will ask for some hands and then we'll have a look at answers together. So only when I ask for hands, you can raise your hand. For now, just try B, C, and D for me. You've got the number line there, so use the number line if you need to. Let's see if we can figure out which numbers are bigger or smaller. Which numbers are bigger or smaller? I don't know. Some words came out there that I don't think were right.
Let's go, my people. They were definitely right. So Kanke, you've been with us and we have told you that we don't want anyone raising their hand. Oreho also, we don't want anyone raising their hand at this moment. We need to listen. Hey, my people, because also listening skills is what we need. And y'all, I know that you guys are so clever to get that right, okay? So, Oreho, hand down. So it's only when Teacher Sam can say, now it's time for you to raise your hand, you raise your hand. If she doesn't say that, no one is raising their hand. We are all writing on our books first. When we are done writing on our books, we're putting it on the chart until Teacher Sam said, now it's time for hands. Okay, my people, let's go. I see Tembani is up with a pen, being focused. Yes, guy, let's do this. Let's go, my people. Y'all can do it. And I'm liking those answers. You go, girl.
And guys, remember the reason we're asking you to just wait for your hands is just that we can give everyone a chance to think, everyone a chance to answer. And just so that we're not getting overloaded with hands and then we miss a question or we miss an issue.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
I'm not seeing very many answers coming through. Olonda, the crocodile on a PC. So if you look at the bottom of your keyboard along the last row of letters, it goes B, N, M, and then there's like a comma and a full stop and a hash and all the rest of it. And then it's got the crocodile mouths on top. So if you hold shift and then you push the crocodile mouth, of course, nothing's going to happen because I'm not typing anything. So if, for example, you wanted to type something, there's a comma, but if you now hold shift and push the comma button again, you can get the crocodile mouth.
Hi, Taylor. I cannot see your face, but I'm picking up on you because I don't know what you're doing. So you better be working, eh, Taylor?
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. So if anyone would like to raise their hand, now is the time to do it. And you can let me know which number you feel is bigger. Do you want to help me with B? Remember, guys, 5-second rule. Okay. Oh, no, there we go.
Ma'am. B equals to what?
Okay, so remember, which number is bigger in B? Is -1 bigger or is 1 bigger? Which is the bigger number? That was the question. Perfect. So 1 is the bigger number, so our crocodile must eat the number 1. Very nice. Well
Well
done.
done, well done.
Okay, and Taba saying, do you want to, oh, sorry guys, I'm just unmuting people. And Taba saying, do you want to help me with C? There should be a pop-up to unmute. There we go.
C is 0.
Excellent, well done. So guys, here, 0 is our bigger number. And again, I always take it back to food. I would much rather have no pizza than owe someone pizza. And that is sort of that concept of negative numbers, that concept of debt. Remember, we spoke about this in our last course. So if you are someone who likes food, think about it in terms of food. Jenna, do you want to help me with D? I can't hear you. I know you're unmuted, but just check your audio. Still can't hear you.
It might be a speaker problem, hey, Jenna, because you can hear us, but we can't hear you. So if you could please, next time, maybe have an adult to look at your microphones, okay? It should be the speaker that is giving you a little bit of a problem. Sorry, girl.
We'll figure it out next one. Olonda, D?
Ma'am, D is -1.
Perfect. So guys, again, -1 is our bigger number. And I'd rather owe someone 1 cupcake than owe them 3 cupcakes. So remember, negative numbers we can always think of in terms of debts or temperatures if you felt that way. There's many different ways we can try and think of these in terms of figuring out which is the bigger number, or just use your number line. If you look at your number line and use the fact that certain numbers are bigger and certain numbers are smaller, you'll be able to decide which is which. All right, I'll leave it there in case anyone wants to take a screenshot. Remember, guys, I'm going to try to give everyone a chance. If you didn't get a chance now, don't worry. Next time I ask you for hands, I will pick some new people and hopefully everyone will get a chance tonight.
I really love the idea of food because I love food so much. So definitely I'll never forget it. Memsam was talking about pizza and I was like, damn it, I'd rather give you 1 pizza than 3 pizzas. Definitely
Exactly.
-1 is bigger than -3. So that's a very nice way. Now I will always remember to Sam.
I don't know when I started thinking about it, but it just, yeah, food. It's now all I can think about when I do integers.
Yeah. A nice way. It's embedded now in our brain.
Alrighty, guys. So let's have a look at our second example. So remember, we're working with integers. Remember, if you need to, draw a number line. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a number line anyways for us. This question's a little bit different. Oh, golly. In that I'm asking you to essentially finish the pattern. So we're bringing some number patterns into here. It can be really nice when we eventually do number patterns. Hopefully you're going to then feel a little bit more comfortable with number patterns. But essentially I want you to carry on the pattern. Now, if we look at question A, so I'm going to do A with you, and then I will ask for hands when I'm ready for hands. If we look at question A, we've got a pattern of 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you can do patterns in lots of different ways, but essentially what you want to figure out is what's happening from one value to the next. So if we go to 4 on our number line, we move 1 down to get to 3, and then 1 down to get to 2. And so what I'm actually doing here is I'm moving or I'm subtracting 1 each time. And so if I now want to write the next 3 numbers, when I subtract 1 from 1, I get 0. When I subtract 1 from 0, I get -1. And when I subtract 1 from -1, I get -2. So because I'm working with integers, I'm able to go into these negative values or these negative numbers. And we just need to try and figure out what the pattern is. Okay, so very important. Factors and integers are not the same. I just saw the question on the chat. Factors are numbers that can divide into a value with no remainder, whereas integers are types of numbers. Okay, so an integer can be any positive or negative whole number, whereas a factor is specific to a certain value that we're working with. Alrighty, guys. So what I want you to do is try question B for me. So you've got the pattern 8, 6, 4, 2. I want the next 3 numbers. Remember, figure out what your pattern is. Figure out what you're doing to get from one term to the next. And remember, I only want the next 3 numbers. It's very, very important that we follow instructions. I'm very strict with my students. If they don't follow an instruction, then I'm very strict when I mark them. So just remember, next 3 only. I'll tell you when I want hands.
Let's go, my people. So Taylor, I know I picked on you, so you can lower your hand because Teacher Sam hasn't asked for hands up, okay? So, and I'll keep on picking on you. So next time I'll be like, hey, Taylor, give us that answer. Okay, so guys, don't raise your hand if Teacher Sam didn't ask for them. But y'all are so clever to actually follow instructions. So I believe we are all going to follow instructions. So let's go, let's see. I know I have geniuses in this class, but people are geniuses. So definitely we're gonna see a flood of answers on the chat. Let's go. We're doing B.
Remember, guys, you can put your answers in the chat. We see them coming through. It also helps me to see if we're on the right track. So do put your answers in the chat, and then I'll ask for some hands in a second or two. I'm just giving everyone a chance to try.
Instructions. It's important to follow instructions. Let's go, my people. Let's see.
Yes, remember, we're doing B, guys. We've done A together. We are now doing B. Alrighty.
Let's go.
Would anyone like to raise their hand to tell me what the next 3 numbers are? Okay, Supermandla, do you want to help me with B?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
The next one is minus -0, -2, and -4.
Good, well done. Sorry, guys, I don't know why this pen is so aggressively thick. Let me just fix that. Yeah, it was a little bit excessive there. So exactly 0, -2, -4. And if we go to our number line, we start at 8 and we go to 6. This time I'm jumping 2 places. So I must jump another 2 to 4, another 2 to 2. And if I keep jumping 2 places, I'm going to figure out what my missing or what the next pattern in my sequence is going to be. And so you can use the number line if it's useful to you, but look at the pattern, see what is happening from one term to the next. Right, I'm going to hang here in case anyone has any questions. So at this point, if you want to raise your hand for a question, you can. I am going to move over to C and D in a second, so we'll get to those. But if you have a question, you can raise your hand now. Dal, question?
Ma'am, I don't understand B, ma'am.
Okay, so B, what we're doing is to get from 8 to 6, I'm subtracting 2. And to get from 6 to 4, I'm subtracting 2. So basically what we want to do is we want to keep subtracting 2 in order to get the next terms in my sequence. So if I now start with 2 and I subtract 2, I get 0. If I now have 0 and I subtract 2, I get -2. And so I just keep subtracting the same amount each time, following the pattern, in order to get the next 3 terms in my sequence.
Oh, so like you counting 2s backwards?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
Pleasure.
That was a nice question, Chante. Well done.
Okay, there's a user 15 here. If you can let us know your name so we can change it. And then if you have a question. Okay.
Okay, we will move user 15. We love you, but you don't respond to us. So we're gonna move to the other students.
Right, Caesar, question?
You don't know how to answer.
Excuse me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I think I'm gonna mute Sizwe. I don't think he had a question. I think he wanted to answer. So Sizwe, if you can hear us, now it's time for questions, okay? Not to answer. It's only for questions. Okay, Timbani, you're next.
Timbani, question? There should be a pop-up to unmute yourself.
Let's go, Timbani, you can do this. There's a pop-up box on your screen. Just tap on it so you can talk to us. There we go. Well done. What's your question? Okay. Okay. Timbani, if you can hear us, you can put your question on the chat and I'll definitely see it and I'll tell Teacher Sam about it. Okay. Because we cannot hear you. I think it's network problem. Okay. We're sending so much hugs to you. Put your question on the chat and we'll definitely answer it.
Okay, guys. So we've done A and B. So let's see if you guys can give C and D a try. So I'm going to leave A and B there just so that you can see what we were doing. You then got the number line. You can work with it. But I want you to try C and D. Now, remember, I do not want to see any hands. You can put your answers in the chat. Remember to number them C and D. And only when I ask for hands, can you raise your hand and then give me some answers. Right, but try C and D. Figure out what the pattern is. What are you subtracting each time to get from one number to the next one?
Let's go, my people. Let's go. I want to see some answers. So I told you that today, so for those who are late, we are dealing with algebra. We're not going to be dealing with any other concepts. Litemba, I see you, Mugai, but it's not time for questions. Hey, my personal person, it's not that time for questions yet. So all of us, we are doing number C and D on the screen. Let's do this, my people. Put your answers on the chat. Thank you, Jenna. I see your answers. Thank you, Blessing. I see your answers. Olonda. Sorry. I'll get your name right. I'll get your name correctly one day. Well done. Let's go. Let's go. Vifense, no problem. I'm just filling you in. We're doing algebra in here. We don't want anyone raising hands. So Sizwe, no hands for now. Because we wait for Teacher Sam to say, now it's time to raise our hands. And then we all raise our hands, either to answer, and then later on, she will say, now it's time for questions. We all raise our hands, okay? So Sizwe, my guy, yes, now you can hear me. So now it's time for you to answer C and D. Don't raise your hand. Put your answers on the chat. There we go. Now we speak the same language, you and I. Let's go. Let's do
guys,
this.
just remember to be careful of your signs. So make sure that your pattern is actually being followed. Alrighty. Okay, I'm seeing some good answers, some signs that we need to check. So now when we go through the answers, guys, I really don't want to have to keep saying this. Do not raise your hand until I ask you to. It's going to become very tedious. I have not asked you to raise your hands yet. Wait. Okay.
We ask for apology. Hey, my people, we need to be able to listen to instructions, okay? Like this Teacher Sam won't get tired, okay?
Okay.
Because if we raise our hands, it's not good.
And I'm trying to help the people who are putting answers in the chat and maybe just struggling a little bit. So we will get there.
Definitely. Let's go. Thank you, Kiamohetswe. We wait for to get corrections. Okay, so we hope everyone is writing it on their books. Like this, Teacher Sam will give us the, we will do corrections with everyone so everyone can correct. Mikhail, we appreciate that hand, but it's not the time to raise your hand.
Okay,
Let's
so guys,
go.
like Yolanda says, when we go through these answers, I need you to double check because there's some sign things happening here that we need to double check our signs. So now, if anyone would like to answer C and D, you may raise your hands. And then what I want is everyone marking so that you know where you've gone wrong, if you have gone wrong. Okay. Jenna, do you want to try again?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, we can, Jenna. Nice.
Okay. For C, I said -5, -6, and -7.
Perfect.
Ooh.
So guys, what we are doing here is essentially we're just subtracting 1 each time to get from one value to the next one. And so if we carry on that pattern, then we get our sequence. Right, Tyler, D
Well done,
first.
Jenna.
So ma'am, ma'am, D, you're decreasing by 50 each time. So it's gonna be 0, then -50, then -100.
Woo!
Perfect.
Well
guys,
done, Taylor.
That
Thank you, ma'am.
explanation there is you are decreasing by 50 each time. So same for C, you could say you're decreasing by 1 each time. And so again, we need to have those negatives because once you hit 0, you're now moving on to the negative side of your number line. Right, so I'm going to leave it there if anyone wants a screenshot. If anyone has questions, you can raise your hand now for questions while people are screenshotting. And then we're going to take a little break before we carry on. December, do you have a question for us?
Yes, miss. How do you do by D that 250 minus the number there?
Which 250? So there's a 200. So what we're saying is we're saying 200 minus 50 gives us 150. And then 150 minus 50 gives us 100. So each time we're subtracting 50 to get the next one.
Thank you, miss.
Does that make sense, September?
Yes, miss.
Okay, good. Ntabi Singh, question?
Ma'am, I wanted to ask for D, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it? Oh, sorry, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. Pardon me, ma'am.
Okay, no, that's all right. Are you all sorted? Okay, so Nondrabulo, I hope we now understand C. Guys, last couple seconds to take a screenshot and then I'm moving away. So make sure you have it. I'm not coming back. Right, brain break. Ooh.
Hey, I just see spiders and snails. I'm like, oh.
Alrighty, so guys, brain break is basically, I don't know why they are hands, put them down. Brain break is basically a point in the lesson where we just take a little break from what we're doing, give our minds a break from the integer stuff that we're currently doing, and it's just like a fun little maths problem solving quiz thing that we try. So what I'm going to do today is we're going to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to leave you guys and you're going to try this one by yourselves, and we're going to wait for the answers in the chat, and the first person to get the right answer, I'll call your name, and if you want to raise your hand, you can raise your hand and you can explain to us how you did it. Otherwise, I will then ask for hands. All right, so give it a try. Try it by yourselves. You obviously are welcome to put stuff in the chat as you go along so that hopefully we can help each other, but give it a try.
Let's go, my people. Gigi, oh, no hands. Gigi, yet you got the final answer from the charts, and if it's the right one, Teacher Sam will be like, Gigi got it right, raise your hand. But now, hands down. Let's go. Non Jabula, it's just a brain break, nothing to worry about. It's just jogging your your sort of your brain, since y'all are geniuses. Teacher Sam came up with this so that y'all can have fun. So please do stretch, go to the toilets and do whatever you want to do and come and join us, have some fun, okay? So remember, we are looking for the final answer, which Teacher Sam, I haven't figured it out. So I don't know the answer. Okay, got it.
I've just
got
sent it to you.
Thank you. So now I know the answer, guys. So far, I haven't seen the correct answer. So remember, we're not trying to find out what is the spider is, what is the worm is. We're trying to find the final answer and no hands. Hey, Mema, you can lower the hands down. No hands at all. Here we go. Thank you. Let's go. This is supposed to be fun. Let's see. Have your memory. See, Zoe, I see you, Mugai. Take a pen, write things down. I can see you. Ma'am is watching you. I am on your case.
Guys,
Let's
and
do
this is like equations practice. Like when we get to equations, these are equations. So you practicing it now is only going to help later. And if you're keeping an eye on the chat, you're going to see that people are helping you on the chat by giving you some potential answers and going through
Yeah,
this.
they're giving you hints. Yeah, they're only giving you hints because it's not the final answer. We are looking for that question mark there. So of course, you have to find the spider, you have to find that bee thing there, and you'll definitely arrive to the final answer. And that's what we are looking for. Let's go. So far, no correct answer. Let's try again, my people. Let's try again. Take it step by step on your book. Try find out what is the worm. After having the worm, try find out what could be the spider. Remember that Bodmas come. Orlando is what we know. Orlando, do you wanna raise your hand like this? You can explain to the whole class, my personal person, to explain why did you get 38. Let's go.
Okay, Olanda, tell us, how did you get 38?
Okay, ma'am. So, right, you can tell by looking at the caterpillars that it's 5 because 5 plus 5 plus 5 would be 15.
Good.
And so you already have the caterpillar for the second one. And then you would have to go 5 times something. And now 5 times 4 plus 4 gave me 24.
Good. And guys, remember, sorry, I'm just going to interrupt you there quickly. Yolanda said BODMAS. So we have to do the times first before we do the addition. And so that's why Yolanda said 5 times 4, which is 20, plus 4 gives us 24. Okay, good. Yolanda, so now we know the spiders.
Yes, ma'am. And then the B, the B was 7, because 4 times 4 was 16, and then 16 plus 1 is 23. And then the two caterpillars would equal to 10, because 5 plus 5 will be 10.
Good.
And then the bud mass will be 4 times 7, which is 28, plus 10 is 38.
Excellent. So beautifully explained, Yolanda. Well done.
Well done, Yolanda. Thank you for letting me know that that's not a worm, it's a caterpillar. I was like, what? I've been calling it a worm the whole time, and then Orlando comes up, ma'am, so caterpillar is 5, and I'm like, okay, Orlando, okay, I learned something, caterpillar. Well done, guys. Well done, my people.
Okay, so guys, exactly, like this is basically solving an equation, and hopefully we can all do that. But if we can't, no stress, because we're going to eventually do equations. But all you have to do is find the value of each of the pictures and get the final equation. If you have a look here, you can see that there's 2 caterpillars, there's 2 eyes there on that picture. So we know that there's 2 caterpillars, and like Olanda said, because there's 2, we then double the value of 1 caterpillar, so it's 5. And we always need to look out for those doubles. Kimoyetswe, do you have a question? Okay. Righty, guys. So I don't know, I'm sure there were words that were going to come out of my mouth, but now they've gone. Alrighty, let us carry on with some integers. So if we have a look at, oh, do I want to look at that one? Let's have a look at example 4. This is technically our example 3. I just can't number things properly, which is all okay. So if we have a look at example 3 here, I have got 5 questions where I'm asking you to look at what I've given you and write down certain answers. So the 7 greater than negative 12. Again, if we think about our number line, I'm going to try to draw a number line here. If we think about our number line, we can use this number line to go and figure out what these things are. Maybe I should use the correct pen here. So 0, oh, whatever, 1, 2, 3, and so we can keep going. Let's hope I actually give myself enough space. Of course I haven't. Why would I do that for myself? Okay. Now, if we go and use our number line to try and figure out what this is asking us, it's very easy. We're going to use it in a very similar way as what we did for the pattern question or the pattern example. Because all it's telling us to do is to either add to or take away from a specific value. So here, I'm just going to pretend that this carries on. They have told us in the first question, 7 greater than negative 12. So basically what it's asking you to do there is it's saying start at negative 12 and add 7 to it. So if we're here at negative 12 and we want to add 7 because it's 7 greater than, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And where we end up on our number line, that is our answer. So the integer that is 7 greater than negative 12 would be negative 5. So we can use our number line if you want to. A number line is a useful tool, but you do not have to use it to go and figure out which integer we're talking about. So I don't know if you can see all of them. I don't think so. And now I'm trying to move my head when it's actually just on my screen. So there we go. I want you to try B, C, and D for me. Use your number line if you need to. Remember, put your answers in the chat like Olondo is doing with the number B, C, D, and E, so we know which answer is which. I will tell you when I want hands. So I don't want to see any hands just yet. We're giving everyone a chance to try this. I will let you know when I'd like hands raised. And guys, if you're not feeling super comfortable with this stuff, help yourself with the number line. Count as you go along. And make sure that your signs for your answers are correct. Because remember, I said right at the beginning, integers, sometimes we get stuck with signs and we don't want to lose silly marks because of signs.
I actually use my fingers, guys. I remember I was like, well, since they say no calculator, let me just use my fingers. And then I calculated and I got an answer. Okay, so don't be scared to use your fingers. Caesar Mugai, you are writing things down. I'm watching you. My eyes on you, fixed. So you are writing things down. I see you. You're sitting on your chair and there's a table. Therefore, I need you to be like this. Now is that time. Yes. Yes. Thank you. You're writing it down. You're writing things down now. Let's go, my people. There we go, Taylor. There we go. Answers.
Well done.
Non-Jabulo, I want to see your answers also on the chat. I haven't seen your answers on the chat, Non-Jabulo. Who else can I pick on? Let's see. Bingo! I haven't heard from you today.
I know.
Yeah. Hey, Tingo, it's like you just disappeared out of nowhere. Normally, it's you giving me answers. Let's go. We can do this, guys. We can do it.
Nice, guys. Keep those answers coming. You're doing really nicely. Yeah. I want you to read C very carefully. Yeah. It's 6 less than 1. So just think about what that means. Use your number line.
Thank you, Tingo. Tingo is like, I got you, ma'am. Thank you, Tingo. I can see that answer.
Okay, I'm going to give
Yeah,
everyone another minute or so, and then we're going to have a look. I'm not ready for hands yet. I will tell you when. I'm just giving you a time warning.
Gigi, where is your answer on the charts? I haven't seen Gigi's answer on the charts. Guys, I am 100% sure that Kagiso has written her answers on the book. The way that Kagiso is so focused. Well done, Kagiso.
Okay, guys, if you're ready to raise a hand, now is your time. So we've got 4 questions. I'm going to do Tingle's, yeah. Okay, Tingle, tell me, for B, what is 4 less than negative 12? Maybe I should unmute you. So sorry. Tingle?
Negative 16.
Excellent. Well done. So guys, what we need to be careful of here is that we're already sitting at negative 12. I need to take 4 away from that, which would take me to, if I had the rest of the numbers, negative 16. So be very, very careful that you're getting your signs correct and you're moving in the correct direction on your number line. Right, Mavuyo? Oh, sorry, I've just unmuted random people. Mavuyo, do you want to give me C?
C, ma'am, is equal to 5.
All right, so just be careful. We're starting at 1 and we want to take away 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it should be negative
5, ma'am.
Good, well done.
Well done.
Oh, sorry, guys. Things are happening here. Shonolo, do you want to help me with, what are we on? D. Oh, sorry, I keep forgetting to unmute people. That's just like my bad entirely. There we go.
Yes, ma'am. We are on B. So I wanted to say B, it is 16. Is it correct?
Yes, negative 16.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you want to do D for us?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
D, it is 6.
Perfect. Well done. Woo. So guys, if
Well
we just go
done,
into our number
Shona.
line, just so that we can see.
Thank you, ma'am.
Why it's 6. Oh, come on, you silly thing. If we go to negative 2, we now want 8 more than that. So we're moving up our number line. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so we end at positive 6, exactly as Tonolo's just told us. Right, very nicely done. Oh, sorry. See, now I'm clicking things. Caesar, do you want to do E for us? There should be a pop-up to unmute yourself.
Unmute.
There we go.
Can I ask, ma'am, how did we get negative 16?
Okay, so negative 16, if I carry on my number line here, I started at negative 12. Oh, sorry. So I started negative 12 and it says 4 less than. So I need to take away. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I end up at negative 16. I'm taking away even more than the already negative value. So it needs to be a bigger negative. And we're moving along the left of my number line. Okay. Does that make sense, Israel?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Nice, Caesar. Nice. We got this. We got this, man.
Okay, Latemba, do you want to do E for us?
Mas, how did you get to D?
Okay, I'll explain D now in a second. Give me 2 minutes. Let's just get our final answer for E. So Tando, do you want to help me with E?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, I think it's 4, ma'am.
All right, so remember we're starting, whoopsie, sorry, 7 less than 3. So we're starting at 3 and we want to take 7 away. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So very, very close, but negative 4 because I'm starting at 3 and I'm taking away more than what I essentially had.
Oh, yes,
so this
ma'am.
should be negative 4. I don't know why this thing is confusing. Okay, nice.
That was a hard one. Well done for trying. So proud of you.
Okay, to go back to D, how did we get, I think it was D that Latemba asked. Latemba, let me just double check. Latemba, you wanted me to do D.
Yes, miss.
Okay, cool. So if we go back to D, guys, 8 more than -2. I'm just going to draw a new number line here because there's a little bit of chaos going on here. So this is telling me that I need to start at -2. Now, when I do that, it's now telling me to add 8. It must be 8 more. So I move up my number line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so I end at +6, which means that if I'm adding 8 to -2, I get a +6. Right, so guys, I'm gonna just do this quickly in case anyone wants to take a screenshot. Now, while people are taking screenshots, you may raise your hand to ask me a question. So if you have a question, you can raise your hand. If there's no questions, remember, take your screenshots. Latemba, question?
Miss, in B, how did you get there to 16?
Okay, so I did explain that twice now. So what I would suggest is go and watch the video so that you can go slowly through it and hopefully understand, but use your number line to do it. We want to take away 4 from -12.
Yes, miss.
Right, any other questions?